Release the river. Please, if you don't mind. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. We're going to talk about characters that you don't want to stop putting relics on. Some characters you can stop at lower levels, like C-3PO for instance. Who the hell cares what relic he's at? He just hides in the background, he never dies. He could be gear 12 if he wasn't required for, I guess Datacrons, but even beyond Datacrons, things like, the requirements for Jabba and for who? Is it Jedi Master Luke? I don't know, but C-3PO is someone we don't care about what his relic level is, other than as a requirement. However, there are characters who actively want more than just the kind of standard that your account is at, whether it's Relic 3, Relic 5, Gear 12, whatever. These are characters that are going to benefit from more relic levels, specifically because their kits or because their situation in the game kind of benefit from that. So we're going to talk about the mechanical advantages that these characters have and how you can boost your account by being efficient with your higher level relics and getting these characters good. So let's go to the game, shall we? Whoa, madness. We're with Quel, CLS. Madness, guys. So we're going to go through these as quick as we can. I have 15 characters that we're going to discuss. I'm going to try to move through them pretty quick. And yeah, Commander Luke is the first one, I suppose. Remember, there's just 15 characters. Every character benefits from more relics. Well, at least most of them. There's an argument to be said that, Nice Sister Zombie doesn't want to have more relics because of reasons, but for the most part, all characters want Relic 7, Relic 8, whatever. However, these characters benefit more from them than others, and I've just chose 15. You guys can let me know in the comments what characters you think should also be added to this list, and we can all learn from each other. This isn't a definitive list, it's just 15 that I thought would be worthwhile for people who haven't watched one of my videos, who haven't heard about this stuff. It's just a good thing to keep in mind, folks. So Commander Luke, he's often with Chewie. Now, he's different. You would mod him differently, put different things on him if he was just an individual contributor. However, with Chewie acts as kind of a megaphone for the squad and hands his offense and tenacity, among other things, I think health and protection maybe as well, to the rest of the team. Tenacity is really nice because of the various teams that want to counter him, like General Grievous. General Grievous, if he can't stick target lock on the team fast enough, then this team is going to chew that General Grievous team up, for instance. And so, even though he really likes crit damage normally, just for himself, you want him for offense because he gives 20% of those stats from Chewie. He ships 40% to Chewie, and Chewie's like, all right, I'm going to keep 40%, and then I'll hand 20% to everyone else. But, relic levels, and this is something just for your own reference for this video anyways. So he, from 7 to 8, he's gaining 650 damage with offense set mods and offense primaries on a lot of them. He's going to be gaining about 1,000, which 20% of which, don't feel like you need to get a calculator, folks, I can help you, is 200 offense, which isn't anything to sneeze at unless you have to sneeze, in which case you should probably do it fast. I wouldn't want to inhibit you. Bando is a character that is pretty straightforward, guys. He does damage based off of his offense stat, and that's it. It doesn't matter what armor, it ignores defense. It's true damage. He doesn't crit, he doesn't do anything. You just want offense on him, and so therefore, the more relic levels you have, the better. Obviously, you want him to survive a little more and all that stuff, for normal reasons you want that. The other piece of it, though, folks, is that his ship is also good at speed, with a lot of speed and resilience. It's in one of the best fleets now. It's not the best fleet anymore. Profundity probably takes that title. However, that fleet is really good, and he is a centerpiece to it. It is central to the fleet meta currently, and the more relics you have on him, the better. Now, there is this rumor going around, and I know that there are videos that show something like this, but I know that people think that having a faster Cad Bane's ship, the Xanadu Blood, than Razor Crest is essential for the mirror match. First off, it's only essential for some mirror matches. If you're going for full attackers, that doesn't make any sense. If you're attacking other teams, doesn't make any sense. Also, if you want to do that mirror, there's a tried and true way, and I've made videos about it. People don't believe me. For some reason, they're like, oh, you just got lucky. But it's like, well, I do this every time. Like, for a long time, that's how I climbed. Razor Crest can be faster than Xanadu Blood. So, higher relics on Mando, 6E mods, and move the F along. Alright guys, Wampa is a character that's going to be countering a lot of different things that have a lot of potency. Now, he has to avoid tenacity down, of course, unless you're pretty surgical and know exactly what you're doing. But if they have a high potency, there's a risk at the very start that they're going to stun you and then be able to gun you down. If you put a lot of tenacity on him, like I have, to prevent that, then it means that you're not putting as much health on him as he would like. And whereas he ramps his damage, he doesn't ramp his health, and having high relic levels on Wampa is really nice to kind of offset that, because that health also helps with your protection up stat that you're getting. Of course, the damage is also nice, that we ramps enough damage that it probably isn't that essential. He's stat hungry enough, guys, that having higher relics to boost his health is actually fairly useful. Fives is another character that really benefits from this, not only because he has one of the fastest and strongest ships in the game on the 3rd strongest fleet, so still very relevant. He also sacrifices himself when one of the clones dies, hands all of his stats to all of them. Now, if I had the resources, man, I would love to get him to Relic 9, because look at those, look at the health and protection. He's a tank, so he's gaining more than usual from 8 to 9. Remember, 8 to 9 is the tank boost relic, and then who knows what 9 to 10 is going to be eventually. However, the thing is, he gets all of these stats, which is nice. You all knew about that, most likely. However, and you probably knew this, I just want to articulate it for those who don't know. Once one of the clone troopers besides him dies, you don't want to taunt with him. Once they die, then he dies, he sacrifices himself, hands all of the remaining clones all of his stats that he gains from relics. I mean, not all of them, I guess, but he hands them his max health, his max protection, his speed, and his offense stats. So, I mean, there are some people who actually just mod him for a ton of offense, hoping he'll die and make the rest of the clones hit harder. I don't really love that. I don't love gambling on having a character die, but if you're going to accept the fact that he's going to die sometimes, and sometimes, especially in PvE, this is really nice, he's able to boost his team early on with all of these stats, and the higher relics you go, the more boosted the entire team goes. In a way, these relics count. It's like Geo Brood Alpha. When you give Geo Brood Alpha relics, you give another character relics as well. Brood Alpha is not even on this list, I don't think. However, the Brood Alpha is nice because every time you put gear on them, you put gear on 2 different characters. Fives, in a way, from a certain point of view, is putting relic levels on his entire squad. And of course, that ship, man, it's just so good. Higher relics on him is nice. Really, really like that squad. Treya is another one that really benefits from higher relics. She is, so I know that she's resilient regardless. Her kit is just built that way. As the lead, she's getting 40% crit avoid, more potency. It makes the rest of your opponent hit weaker or softer, whatever. She does all these cool control things, and that's what you're like, oh, gear 12 is enough. And I'm like, well, I mean, I can understand that argument. People love to do that, and I mean, really, I mean, you gotta hand it to her, folks. She does very well at lower relics. However, the higher relics is where it's at, folks. For her, and really the other Sith Triumvirate members too, they really love relic levels. I've been so impressed. Every relic level I've added, it's been noticeable. She gains armor. I mean, she gains all these stats, obviously, but The armor stat gain is really nice. She also gains crit avoid for every relic level. She gains more health, obviously. She gets all this stuff to make her more resilient, but that crit avoid is really nice because it stacks with that leadership that gives 40% more crit avoid, and then you can give another, 35% crit avoid from her arrow, which means that she is, I think mine is right now at 88% crit avoid without any datacrons, without anything like that. She's tough to crit. The other piece of it is she also, over time, boosts her damage. Let's see. So, gosh, that's tough. When allied Darth Nihilus or Darth Cyan are critically hit or inflicted with a debuff, and a lot of the teams give a lot of debuffs, she gains 12% offense stacking for 2 turns, and she's able to use her huge Saber Storm attack, which hits multiple times, to be able to one-shot some crazy targets. I've been very impressed with her offense output, and a lot of that has to do with her relic levels, compounding with the bonus offense that she's getting from the rest of her team, getting debuffed all the way to hell. Next up is Dark Trooper, and there's not much more to it than he really likes to punch things really hard. He's really lazy and uses rockets to get to his opponent. He doesn't actually walk anywhere. However, he does punch really crazy hard, and you guys saw the offense stat boost that you get for this. Just mod him for a ton of offense and watch him pummel people to death. The thing is, he gains so much extra offense from Piet, and his kit goes so well with other troopers that the extra offense from his relics really shine, and you end up just taking out entire teams with just him. He's a lot of fun, folks. If you don't have a high relic Dark Trooper, highly recommended. My alt has a relic 4. It was 2 for a little bit, and honestly, my other alt that is now defunct and I don't use anymore got a lot of use out of even just a gear 10 Dark Trooper. However, relic 8, man, you can do a lot of work. If you can actually get him to a place where you can wield his crazy offense, it's really very impressive, folks. Dash Rendar is one that I would love to get to Relic 9, actually. I just got to 8 right before GAC lock. That's when I'm recording this. There's a few different reasons. First, Relic 9 on Outrider. Outrider is part of the new hotness, the new awesome fleet Profundity, and it makes him fast enough that he's able to go take a second turn before certain other vital opponent ships are going to be taking their second turns, which is very important for him to be able to do, actually. So that's a nice thing. The other piece is, and we're going to just ignore Datacrons. Right now he has a ludicrous Datacron that makes him just crazy, and I should remod him to be all offense, but I'm not going to. The thing is, he moves at a very fast rate. Leadership gives him another 20 speed, so he's at 382 speed right now. I mean, I have good mods, of course, but of course I do. I am who I am, folks. No, but here's the thing. He wants to crit. He wants to crit real bad. All of his seeker missiles, the hot shot thing. So all prepared allies gain 2% turn meter. Whenever a prepared ally scores a critical hit, everyone gains 2% turn meter. This thing does 3 hits on every opponent. So in 5v5, he's hitting 15 times for a total of 30% turn meter if he crits every time. And relic levels just happen to give him more crit chance. He doesn't have all of his crit chance solved at the lower relic levels, guys. And so you can give him more damage, you can give him more stuff to be able to boost him. Not to mention he gets more dodge and deflection the more relics levels he gets. And so he's a very good candidate for high relic levels. Relic 5, I realize, is where his requirement is at, but you're going to get more from him if you continue on his path. He also just does a lot of damage. He's a high damage dealer despite being a support. Hayden Versio is a character who ramps damage over time, and as the lead, she facilitates her team taking out a lot of really strong teams. I didn't know if you knew, however, that she's actually a high damage dealer herself. She not only counters a lot, she also, if you meet the right requirements, like no other allies have the leader tag, she hits 3 times every time she does her basic, and when she counters, she does that as well. The thing is, the truth is, yes, her team does a lot of damage. She personally is an enormous part of all of that damage. She is very capable of doing a lot of really messed up things to your opponent, and that all that stems from her having a high damage amount. So I mean, Relic 8 would love to, if I could ever get enough materials and if I could stop relicking things for Jabba. Anfa's Nest is a character that we used to be able to solo things a lot, and at the lower GP levels, she certainly still can, and that is a great argument for getting her to Relic 5 or even higher early on. I really think Relic Nest is amazing. However, Relic 7 makes her even stronger because you kind of shift where she's going to be used. Now, instead of soloing teams, even in 3v3, it can start being tricky after a while. You can kind of make a nest-proof defense at this point pretty easily at the higher GP levels. However, when she's on defense herself, can be very problematic to take out because people don't have as many tools. And 3v3, 5v5, it's the same. If people don't have the right tools to take her out, that's a problem. The two things that make her obnoxious, beyond her getting all of that cool bonus protection, is her health, which of course feeds directly into her bonus protection when people hit her, and she also doesn't want to get debuffed, so a lot of tenacity. Higher relics give her more health, obviously, and that health really feeds into her survivability. And if people can't one-shot her, she has a ton of health steal as well. She ramps up a lot of damage, and so she likes the relic levels where she gets more damage, she gets more health, and her crit damage goes higher. Like she benefits in almost every way. She doesn't really need a lot of speed. The only thing she's not benefiting from with these relic levels is tenacity, which you can give her. You want a lot of health so that people can't one-shot her, because she heals that health. She heals her own health, folks, and she does a lot of cool stuff. Really want to use her with grit so that people, so that she can also add her protection to her health levels and solo more things. Like she could take out Padme pretty easily in a lot of ways with that grit buff, but that's Datacrons. We don't want to make things specific to that. Now, Quel is another character that really benefits from, his whole team benefits from his stuff. The things that he gives them is really Quel. But here's the thing. This is something I missed, actually. Did a whole guide on this team, and I somehow spaced showing you guys this. But, so Droid and Scoundrel allies gain 40% of his max health, offense, potency. They gain 40% of his max protection as well. And so, whereas he's a fast character, you want him to be fast. I kind of want to turn him a little slower now. He's less and less useful these days with a ton of speed, just because Datacrons have kind of negated that. The thing is, Commander Luke is awesome because he hands out 20% of his stats. Quel handing out 40 is literally double. I know you guys aren't good at math, but I'm helping you. I'm helping you. Not all of you are bad at math, just most of you. Now, the more relics, you can see he's only at 6 right now because he's been less useful for the teams I've been using lately. However, the more relics he's getting, the more, so this is what, 300 extra speed, a little bit more, 350. So, 10% of that is what, 35. So you get another like 140, something like that, to the rest of your team just for that one relic level. And then the next relic level is going to give him even more. So he can do a lot of cool stuff, Quel stuff even. All right, we got Vandor Chewie here, guys. We're on the home stretch. Vandor Chewie basically just wants to be real healthy. That's about it. He has to survive, but if he can survive and Landino keeps him hidden in stealth, then he's going to be better and better. So I just got him to Relic 7 to go with Dash, but he's an essential component to taking out Galactic Legends, and the higher relics you can get him, the better, because his protection just kind of disappears, but his health is boosted by 80% more. And so my health right now is we'll say 100k. So another 80%, he's at 180k before his leadership. Pretty dang impressive if you ask me. Old Daca is very similar, guys. She gains a lot of health every time she's boosted, and that health then translates into every time someone dies on a Night Sisters team, which is pretty common, then she gets 10% added onto that, and that 10%, the larger that 10% is, the more survivable she is, obviously. And so the higher relic level she is, the more incapable people are of taking her out eventually. Geo Spy is one of those characters that, man, I just don't put much love into Geos these days. I don't know. Like, so Geo Spy has a good ship that hits really hard on one of the more important fleets. The other thing about it is, though, folks, the Geo Spy does a ton of damage, but look at all the... it boggles my mind sometimes. Like, he can do so much crazy damage. So he deals 40% more damage for each effect dispelled this way. This is for dispel all status effects, so on himself and the target. So if he has a ton of buffs, if his opponent has a ton of buffs, and both of them have a ton of debuffs, he dispels all of it. 40% more damage for each effect. And so if you give him more relic levels, it's just exponential. His potential for damage is mind-boggling. It's very, very impressive, folks. And if you can actually figure it out how to finagle that and mod your characters to be able to make that work, I mean, Spy can be a very impressive character. I keep thinking we should try to find a place for Spy, even if there isn't some kind of, Geo team. I just feel like Spy could be useful on another team, just because you could buff him a ton. It's like Fulcrum Ahsoka. You could give him a ton of buffs, and then go and dispel those on himself and just do a ton of damage. I don't know. Probably just wishful thinking, but something to be thinking about. Now, Red Trooper is a character that wasn't immediately apparent to me. I know that he's required at Relic 5, and 5 seemed enough. However, I mean, really, once you start thinking about it, he does really, really benefit from higher levels. Now, the thing is, because he's Sith, he can go on Sith teams. So whenever another First Order or Sith ally scores a critical hit or stuns an enemy, Sith Trooper is called to assist. And this is really nice. He does a lot of damage, guys. He does a ton of damage just off of assists. And, I mean, it's been annoying in Conquest. I'm like, dude, my Kylo's supposed to be killing guys, not you. But he's just assisting and does so much damage. He does almost more damage than Supreme Leader Kylo. I'm very impressed with him at Relic 8. I've loved him, especially with the emergence of the First Order TIE Pilot, Omicron. He does a ton of damage, not to mention he always gets to crit. I don't know why I have crit chance on him, in fact, because he has advantage so often. Mace Windu is a character that I think could be really nice at Relic 7 or 8 or 9. He is so stat hungry, guys. He wants potency because he wants to be able to stun people. He wants to be able to ability block on his basic. He wants to be able to smite the F out of them. And that, like, he's one of those few tanks he does so much. He is one of my very favorite characters lately, actually. At risk of sounding like Rambam, he just does operate at a very, very high level because he's a tank. And that as a tank, he needs survivability. However, he also does a lot of damage. He also does a lot of status effects. He also debuffs your opponent. He takes away their stealth. He just does a lot of cool stuff. And the higher relics he has, the more capable he is at doing said stuff. He's also the fleet commander for one of the very worst fleets in the game, so don't bother caring about that. So that's what it is, folks. We got 15 done. I hope this was instructive. I hope that it helps you have awesome ideas and completely disregard this list and go do your other things. I know we didn't do Galactic Legends. I know we didn't do legendary characters. I just wanted, well, some of them are legendary, I guess, but I just wanted to do characters that you may have been kind of missing. I didn't add Kyle Katarn to this list. I'm just realizing he would love Relic 7 or 8 because of his crazy amount of damage he can do. He can kill Hayden Versio. You know, there's a ton of characters that could really use a boost, and only you can do that for your team, guys. So let me know what your thoughts are. Hope this was useful. This is not as brief as I was hoping for, as usual. But, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails. If he does prevail, which I doubt.